Back.
All right, it's just like magic, and here we are in the study hall, everybody. How's everybody doing? We know everybody's doing right. We're getting riled up. We're talking about arroz con pollo, etouffee, roux, cooking rice. And I did see one question that came out right at the end, which was talking about plating. Chef Lee was talking about, Amber, your ears must have been burning because Chef Lee was talking about plating just earlier tonight. Chef, you want to take it away? I'll look up some cool plating options right now if you want to start going with it.
So you all are here at your last practical course in culinary school, right? You're at the final stretch here. And one thing that I really encourage students to do, and I love to see, is for you all to level up. And whether that's leveling up by the way you approach the technique that you're doing and kind of dressing up the assignment, that's one way. And another way that you can really show us what you've learned, what your goals are as far as the creative aspect of your cooking goes, is to show us some really beautiful plates. I love seeing that. I get so excited when students turn in plates that have a lot of thoughtfulness behind them. And Chef, when you're ready, we'll look at those photos. But a couple of things: if you have a white plate to put your food on that doesn't have a lot of extra stuff on it, that's going to give you a beautiful backdrop for your plate presentation. Now, if you don't, that's totally fine, but just something to think about. You can get some fairly inexpensive white plates from Amazon, I think maybe for $5 or $7. You want to make sure that your food is in this, you don't want it over the rim. You really want it to be kind of a focal point on your dish. And then another thing to think about is how you're going to garnish it, whether that's with some finely chopped herbs or some sort of flavored oil or some brunoise bell peppers. Those things kind of microgreens, another thing. Yeah, shows your knife cuts. It takes a lot of consideration, I think, when you're talking about beautiful plate presentations. It doesn't have to be super complicated. Really, you can do a minimalistic sort of plating. And as long as you have that focal point in the plate, whether it's in the very center, I see that, Anita, that's awesome. In the center of the plate or just off center a little bit, make sure you've got a concise focal point. Chef, anything?
Height is also
height, yes.
Yeah,
depth.
Height is really important, right? Different height, different levels, a balance on a plate, color, right? Thinking about textures, right? Textures also play into your plating. You want to have a nice combination of that as well. These days, you all are so lucky to be in culinary school this time. You have everything at your fingertips. I mean, literally, Instagram, the internet, all right, with chefs putting all their plates up, cool YouTube videos of showing different strokes and methods. You don't need a bunch of fancy tools to plate well. You can do some magic with a brush, right? You get a regular old pastry brush, right? You can use cups as rings. You can use fork tines. You can use a different size spoon to get different drops. A squeezy bottle, right? Where you cut the tip. So this is one tip, right? You get a squeezy bottle, you get a different tops. You can cut ones that have fatter and smaller holes, so you get a larger amount of cool of your sauce on the plate. The smaller the tip, the more controlled you're going to be. You don't need tweezers and palette knives. Sure, those are awesome, but not every establishment calls for that, right? You also want to think about what type of establishment and what type of plating are you trying to execute. You want to make sure that those concepts match up, right? So let me just pull up a few items here, and we're just going to look at a few things, right? Plating has really accelerated. There used to be this basic thing where meat was, you looked at your plate, this round plate, you had your meat here, your starch, and your veg. And that's kind of how it was, and your sauce. That was it. Now, we're changing the we're using rectangular plates. We're using triangular plates. We're using shallow bowls, deep bowls that aren't fully filled. We're peeling cucumbers and twirling them. We're compressing things. We're dehydrating different items as well to create those different textures and different height. All right, you can deep fry herbs to get crispy, beautiful, translucent herbs that are coming up that add this element. You can make a beautiful infused herb oil by literally just taking a basic oil, and you've got two methods of making an herb oil. One is either blanching your herbs and then blending, right? That usually holds and maintains. Or if you're running short on time and you're just trying to rock and roll, you can take your fresh herbs and go, as long as you have a high-powered blender, blend that, pass it through a chinois, and you've got a beautiful, vibrant green color. So here are some of the chef, did you want to show something? I was just going to pull something up.
I like to do show and tell. So while you're doing
I
that,
know you do.
Charlie Trotter was a Chicago-based chef. Unfortunately, we passed away a number of years ago, but he was a real inspiration for me while I was in culinary school. And I got to go eat at his restaurant as a graduation gift from culinary school. So I don't know, there's a special place in my heart for the work that he did. And his platings were phenomenal. And I can tell you, not just from the photos in the cookbook, but from eating there. I mean, they're just gorgeous presentations. Can y'all see that? So he's got the little, I don't know, the dish in the center that's wrapped in potato with those gorgeous sauces around the plate. Let me see if I can find, there's a yellow taxi gazpacho in here that's just, it may be in the vegetable cookbook. But I like to pull these out a lot in class and show some of the gorgeous plating and food photography. There's another. All right, chef.
All right, let me pull this up. Charlie Trotter was one of the greats. So here's just some beautiful plate ups, right? Another important thing is you want to think about the space between, right? You don't want to have a plate that's overflowing. If you're walking through a buffet and you're filling up your own plate, yeah, load it up, right? But you're not plating that for anybody. You want presentation, you want balance, you want a clean, nice rim, right? You've got this beautiful, plate up right here, which has that sauce down there, some Brussels sprout leaves, a few toasted almonds, that beautifully seared salmon or trout with the skin side up. Here we're looking at something with height, right? Building that height up. Here we've got some beautiful octopus, right? Colors. Now we want to hop into, check this out. We've got, where was this? Here's some other, now we go into some other bold colors here, right? We've got a nice, beautiful sauce. Now, again, not everything needs to look like this. This doesn't make a dish, right? Especially when we're talking about comfort food. How do you plate that up? This is a bit more rustic, right? We've got that rice down there. We've got veg, some beautiful fillets of fish, a little bit of foam, and some height incorporated there, and some color with some extra micro herbs. Here's another application of utilizing those dots, right? Taking a squeeze bottle and placing those there. You've got tons of ways. Now we're getting even more upscale where this is a dessert. You're using different molds to get that a quenelle, right? A quenelle. If you don't know how to make a quenelle, start teaching yourself. You take 2 spoons and you do this. It takes a long time to work it, but you can make quenelles out of ice cream. It's the best thing to make it out of. Ice cream or sorbet, you're going to get the hand of it. You can also do it out of a thick puree, but it's not, you don't always get this clean finished product. You can also use that when making beautiful ricotta gnocchis. You're using quenelles to do that. Some great techniques. Think about that dukkha we made in week 1, right? This looks like, what they've used here is basically a lacquer or some type of sauce that's going to help stick, and then apply those nuts to that. You also have different molds. Another thing to check out is shooters. Sorry, I don't want this to be so loud. All right, now we can still hear me, I think, right? Just taking, take a look at different videos here, right? How can you do this? That's put on a cake plate platter where you're spinning it. A lot of these are desserts, but they're gorgeous, right? It doesn't mean you can't utilize some of these same techniques. That's building different layers here on your design. There's this approach too, the splatter approach, right? You'll see a lot of chefs are going crazy now. Here's a great easy technique for getting half of your plate with a straight line. You haven't seen a ton of instruments here, right? We're just seeing squeeze bottles, fork tines, a spoon, nothing much, right? Simple, but really enhancing a lot of things. You've got the old classic where then you can run a toothpick between there. There's your palette knife, right? But keep watching. You're gonna see that there are tons of different ways to really work on your plating. Again, sketching beforehand. Sketching it out beforehand really helps. Otherwise, I mean, there have been so many plates, and you're gonna mess up a lot. All right, and you're gonna get frustrated. It's part of it. You know, I think about so many times where I'm like, have this vision. I'm like, oh, this is gonna look amazing. You know, and then I put it, and then I'm like, oh, I don't know, really did not show up how I wanted to at all. Knife cuts are extremely important when it comes to plating. All right, because it's appearance, balance. Yeah, chef.
I don't know if my Instacart got dropped off way early, so I had to go bring that inside. So I apologize, but I'm not sure if you mentioned with these recipes that you're making this week, and as you think about your plating, know that you don't have to put everything that you make on your plate. You can pare it down if you want to really do a micro version of what you've made on your plate, so that it's got a lot of visual appeal to it. Save the big heaping bowls for when it's time to eat, and think about how you can plate these dishes with some finesse.
Definitely. I did just see a question in the chat that I missed earlier about having excess herbs. Freeze them. Freezing is a great way. You can freeze them in oil. You can freeze it wrapped in a paper towel if you're not processing it. If you can, if you have a dehydrator, you can dry it out so you have dried herbs. I personally prefer freezing. I don't have a dehydrator, and I don't want to turn the oven on because it is hot as Hades where I live right now. So I'm not putting on an oven. But I freeze my herbs. They're not as great as fresh, but it's better than it going to waste.
And better than dried.
When you think about that. Yeah, and way better than dried.
Yeah. And Christina, I see your comment here. You love to play with your food. I tell my students all the time to play with their food. This is a fun class and a great opportunity for you to do that. Chef, I see you got excited there.
I did. I got really excited because Chef Greg, I don't know if any of you all know this, but oh man, I wish I could remember the chef. It doesn't have to be fancy ingredients. There's this one chef out there who takes Oreos, right, and crumbles the Oreo and uses garnishes like that. Doritos. I'm trying to figure this out, because sometimes you can think, well, man, I don't want to waste this plate up. It doesn't work, et cetera, et cetera. You can use plating techniques with inexpensive ingredients, like Chef Lee and whomever else was saying, like playing with your food. And it doesn't have to be expensive ingredients that you're playing with. You can make really cool plate ups using super cheap ingredients. So start thinking about that. How finely do you crush something? Is it coarse? Is it fine? Is it like a powder? What stage are you processing that to? Let me see if I can get this chef. I wish I remember the chef name, who it was. Man.
I was thinking about a restaurant that I went to, and they used boiled egg to garnish the dish. I can't remember. Maybe it was like a lox bagel or something that had a boiled egg on there. But they pushed the egg white through like a china cap, and it came out in these little, very delicate pieces, kind of like the size of rice, maybe a little bit smaller. And then did the same with the yolk, and it looked like pollen. So cool. And that's a boiled egg, something very easy to make and inexpensive. That's a fun thing to play around with.
I can't find it. What I will do is I'll reach out to Chef Greg because he was always obsessed with this chef about taking, you know, Twizzlers and Doritos and making these beautiful plate presentations, which is pretty cool. You know, it doesn't have to be foie gras
I see
and
you.
caviar.
Lee has it on the tip of her tongue, I think. Can you unmute yourself?
Oh,
What? Lamerde. Chef Lamerde.
is that really what his name is? Because that's hilarious if it is. He's on Instagram.
It is, I swear to God.
Oh, is
He
it?
has this thing about doing junk food garnishments.
Okay,
now.
let me
I've
pull
seen
it
his
up.
Video.
Let me put it up. Let me put it up. Let's see. Yeah, bingo, nice job. Let's see if we can get this Instagram. Let's see if this works. Yep, bingo. We're in. Nice job. Thanks, Lee.
You're welcome.
All right. So, I see a corn dog. What do you all see? But that is a beautiful plate up. Not the greatest photo, but that is a corn dog, and those are slices of corn dog right there. This looks like a Lunchable and some cheese sandwiches. Would you guess that? No. I see a club cracker. Beautiful, right?
Oh, man,
Looks like maybe some bologna, Thousand Islands, and a snack pack. Hostess cupcake, and that looks like a Twizzler. See what else? Oh, there's that corn dog special. That's mustard and ketchup there as well, guys, and some bologna and some pickled onions. All right, so you can have fun with this. I don't know what that one is. That one looks fancy.
Taco Bell?
Yeah, that might be Taco Bell. That's Taco Bell and nacho cheese sauce. Right? So kind of fun, kind of funny, kind of funky, you know, just to, you know, it doesn't have to be hoity-toity ingredients. It's playing with your food, but thinking about that composition, balance of colors, textures. So I just say, have some fun. Think about the bowl that you're using, like Chef Lee was saying. Sorry, there was a fly. You know, how do you want to present this arroz con pollo? How do you want to, you know, adding those scallions to your etouffee brings that pop, right? Your etouffee is going to have that dark chocolate roux that's coming in there. It's going to be dark brown. You want some balance. You want some color coming in. So tons of cool things to have fun with and think about plating, using ring molds, lots of different techniques, even just doing, taking one of my old favorites things, the first thing that I learned was taking a small soup bowl, rub a little oil in there, say you're taking a basic grain rice, pack your rice in there, invert that on the plate, and now you have, you know, a simple mold, right? You've got ring molds that you can build salads out of as well. That's how you do it. Think about how you slice, even just adding some extra thinly sliced tomatoes, you know, cherry tomatoes, really slicing them nice and thinly, dressing them with a little salt and pepper and olive oil so they become glistening, right? And get a little more color on there. Your chiffonade of herbs on top as opposed to a mince, right? All of these add different layers and attention to detail, which shows the customer that you care, that you're thinking about your food. Remember, like we said, you know, if you walk in, I guess maybe this was another class, but if you walk in and you see a menu that's not well written, all right, and there are mistakes all over it, what do we think what's happening in the kitchen? Attention to detail, not there, right? If you're just slopping stuff on a plate, attention to detail, not there. Doesn't mean you can't have food slopped on a plate and it's not going to be delicious. Definitely not saying that. Some of my favorite food. All right. But depends upon the type of establishment that you're going for. Right. You could serve mac and cheese, which is just, you know, everybody loves mac and cheese. I mean, I know I do. I think most people do. Whether I'm eating it out of a, you know, grow up eating it out of a Kraft blue box, right? Or then taking that and adding lobster or crab and putting it in a small au gratin, you know, a small side dish, and adding breadcrumbs and a little butter and getting a gratiné on there. So instead of having a portion where you're scooping it out, you've got individual portions. This has just elevated that. Just stepped the game up. Now you throw a few chives on there. Now you've enhanced it even more. You're increasing flavor profile as well as color. All right. Lee, is your hand up from before, or is that a new one?
Said she was going to make dinner.
All right.
I don't know. Are you still there, Lee?
Yep, she's back.
That was from earlier. I'm
Okay.
gathering stuff up when you asked me that. Why
Okay.
is it up again?
All righty. All righty. Christina.
I love the plating ideas, love it. And I've sent you a bunch of my desserts that I've made. I've had fun plating those. The reason why I said the whole plating thing is I grew up with my mom that yelled at me every time I played with my food. So I was kind of being a smart butt at that time. So, but my next question is I hate to ask this question. I'm trying to do my shopping list for week 5. And I was wanting to know what type of fish would you all recommend for this? Because I've looked up everything and they said the best fish to use would be salmon or just regular, salmon or trout.
Yeah, either one of those are going to be beautiful for end papillote. But you can really do pretty much anything. You can also do shellfish, but salmon or trout are going to be wonderful.
Can you use I still have some crab sticks from World Cuisines where you take the crab out of the stick, you know, it's shredded. Can I use that as well?
Oh no, because that's not the crab stick is imitation crabs, and that's already been cooked. You need raw fish.
Okay, I was just curious about that because I was like, hey, maybe I could use this, and yeah.
Yeah, no, it's always good to ask. I'm all about utilization, but you need raw fish or raw shellfish for that.
All right, thank you, chefs.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I'll reiterate that. I've seen several students use already cooked shrimp in their papillote.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
You won't get credit for that.
Yeah, but we'll cover that more next week. In the meantime, class, if you have questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Chef Lee. Hope you all had a good night, and looking forward to seeing all those tasty week 3 assignments. So enjoy this week and talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.